Let's now begin with the top developments that you need to know on the big story of the day, the Modi Cabinet Rejig that is on the cards. Development number one, BJP leaders who are likely to be inducted in the cabinet have been summoned to Delhi. India Today has the exclusive inside details and inside tracks, and leaders like Jyotiraditya Scindia, Sonowal and Narayan Rane have been summoned to the capital. That's the first development. Development number two, all the BJP cabinet probables are headed to Delhi as we speak, and they will reportedly meet with BJP chief JP Nadda. Perhaps this evening is what we're picking up. JP Nadda is in Himachal. He's going to be heading back to Delhi this evening, and a meeting with these leaders is on the cards this evening. Development number three, we just reported this. Thawar Chand Gehlot, who was a part of the Modi cabinet, has now been appointed as the governor of Karnataka. Gehlot was the social justice minister, and that means that this particular ministry is now up for grabs. This particular ministry is now vacant, and the cabinet rejig will perhaps fill this ministry post. This after the government ordered major rejig of the governors. So these are the top three developments that we're bringing to you at the moment from what we're picking up on the inside track that's coming in. Rahul Srivastav, our national affairs editor, joins us live. Rahul, we walked our viewers through three top developments that have taken place. The Modi cabinet rejig, the big story here is that while we said it is inevitably happening this week, the information coming is that it may just happen tomorrow evening. How sure are we of this?
Jyoti, India Today had reported on Friday last that there are two windows of opportunity being pursued by the government for a cabinet rejig. That is, one starting from the morning of 7th of July, and the second some 2 days after the Prime Minister's address from the ramparts of the Red Fort on the 15th of August. Now, there are few clear indications with some leaders being summoned coming to Delhi, and very importantly, Thawar Chand Gehlot, a senior minister in the government, being sent out as a governor to Karnataka is the clearest indication. Why I say that? Primarily because Thawar Chand Gehlot was not only a minister in social justice ministry, but also the leader of the house in Rajya Sabha. Now, that means that somebody has to be appointed to that post of leader in the Rajya Sabha. It has to be a senior leader, and that well could be a minister in the government. And that is why prior to the session of Parliament beginning 19th of July, it's very clear that there has to be rejig. So what sources are saying, it could happen tomorrow evening or day after tomorrow morning. Now, what is also important is what we were discussing in the last bulletins, that this exercise is supposed to give new administrative teeth and legs to the Council of Ministers, because the government has taken a beating, the image has taken a beating because of the second surge, and also there is a certain degree of inertia that the Prime Minister has got during the feedback system and the review system that he has. And also a regional representation and a caste representation that the Prime Minister would like to signal to the past elections and the coming elections in future. And that's why, if you note, the governors who have been announced to the Chetty, if you allow me time, is a very interesting appointment. There are now more women governors than in the past. There are more SC governors than in the past, with Mr. Thawar Chand Gehlot being sent out, with Rajendra Arlekar being sent out.
Yeah.
These are members from the SC communities.
Yeah.
Then there is also OBCs. There are 3 Jat governors now. So the Prime Minister taking care of the caste equations as the regional aspirations through the appointment of governors. So likely that the cabinet exercise is also going to be that.
All right, so focus seems to be on Bengal, UP and Maharashtra for the moment. And Rahul, stay with us right there. Rahul is getting us this big news. In fact, Rahul was the first one to report this on Friday as well. Hemendra Sharma is reporting from Bhopal, and Prema Rajaram is joining us from Kolkata at the moment. Sahil Joshi reporting from Mumbai. Let's begin with Hemendra Sharma, who's reporting from Bhopal. Hemendra, what we are picking up is that Jyotiraditya Scindia was on a tour. He's left it midway and he's on his way to Delhi. Perhaps he could be the new face who could be inducted in the Modi cabinet.
Well, there is a lot of excitement and enthusiasm amongst Jyotiraditya Scindia supporters, particularly those who left the Congress party, they left their MLA-ships and they also left their ministries and then fought elections on a BJP ticket and formed the BJP government and then have become ministers. So there's a lot of excitement amongst them because the part of the original deal was that Jyotiraditya Scindia too has to be accommodated in the union cabinet. It's been a long time, and after almost more than a year, in fact, today Jyotiraditya Scindia fans are very excited, and today he has cut short his visit. He was supposed to be in Dewas today, and he had a 3-day visit planned. He was supposed to stay in Indore tonight, but his office has confirmed that he's leaving back to Delhi. He's going to leave Indore.
Heminder, Jyotiraditya Scindia jumped ship from the Congress party to the BJP, and now with him being summoned to Delhi, seems like it's inevitable that he will be inducted into the Modi cabinet. Perhaps we can say that, given the manner in which he jumped ship from the Congress party to the BJP.
Well, yes, Jyotiraditya Scindia is likely to be inducted, and his supporters over here are very enthusiastic about this development that he has been summoned to Delhi. So it's almost a given that he's going to be there in the union cabinet. But the question is what kind of a ministry he's going to get, because there is also a lot of buzz about Jyotiraditya Scindia bargaining for some senior ministry. Remember, his father, late Madhavrao Scindia, also ran senior ministries as union cabinet minister for union HRE ministry and also as the railway minister. So those comparisons are also being made, and people over here are hoping that Jyotiraditya Scindia not only would he be inducted into the union cabinet, but he would also get some prominent ministry.
Stay with us right there. Prema Rajaram reporting from Kolkata is also joining us. Prema, Sonowal has been summoned to Delhi too, perhaps going to be meeting JP Nadda this evening, who's by the way on his way from Himachal to Delhi. Let's re-establish that connection right there to Prema, but taking this across to Sahil Joshi, who's reporting from Mumbai. Sahil, what's the news and scoop and inside track that you're picking up as far as Narayan Rane is concerned?
Well, I spoke to Narayan Rane in the early morning, and Rane has made it very clear that he has got a call from JP Nadda and he's leaving for Delhi. In fact, we have visuals him leaving for Delhi from Goa airport. Interestingly, Narayan Rane's appointment in Delhi has cleared a lot of political clutter in Maharashtra, as what we can see at this point of time. There was a rumor that Devendra Fadnavis might be inducted in the central cabinet, but Narayan Rane's name now seems to be very clear because he has been called to Delhi. It looks like that the BJP is getting themselves ready to take on Shiv Sena at this point of time. Narayan Rane is known as opponent of Shiv Sena, opponent of the Thackeray family themselves, and him being given a power, him being made a minister, which seems that which is vacant after the Shiv Sena minister Arvind Sawant left the Modi cabinet in 2019. It seems that the BJP has made it clear now that what their politics is going to be in future. We are also hearing that Dr. Preetam Munde, sister of Pankaja Munde and Gopinath Munde's daughter, is also likely to be inducted in the cabinet. She might be made a junior minister there, but she's not confirming it. I've been trying to speak to her. There is one more name which is coming up from Western Maharashtra, Ranjit Naik Nimbalkar, but again, he's quiet about whether he will be called to Delhi or not at this point of time. Hina Gavit has denied that she hasn't got any kind of a call. She's a tribal member of parliament from Nandurbar district. Looking at the situation, it seems that the Maharashtra, being one of the most important state after UP, in 2019, Maharashtra with Shiv Sena brought 41 to the tally of NDA, and that is a huge number if you look at the total numbers in the center. So looking at that, the BJP is keeping all the options open. Rane has been inducted, who is against Shiv Sena, is a Maratha leader. He was a former chief minister of Maharashtra, and he has a sphere of influence in the Konkan region. So that region has been covered. Somebody from the Western Maharashtra will be picked up, looking at the Maratha politics at this point of time, especially after the Maratha quota has been scrapped by the Supreme Court. So somebody from the Western Maharashtra will be incorporated. And OBC has always been a base for BJP. After Devendra Fadnavis was made the Chief Minister in Maharashtra,
At
it
point,
looked like that the
Sahil, in
OBC
just about a
leaders-
bit. So Sahil is getting us these details coming in from Maharashtra as well. Prema will also be joining us in just about a bit on this particular broadcast. This is a big story and big scoop that we're getting to you as far as the cabinet reshuffle is concerned. Lots of new names going to be added, lots of names to be dropped. Hectic parley is going on as we speak. Many ministers being summoned to New Delhi. Let's also take a look at the reaction we're getting from Jyotiraditya Scindia, who is going to be in Delhi now in the afternoon.
यहाँ से मैं जा रहा हूँ कई जगह श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करने के लिए, फिर बीजेपी कार्यालय भी मैं जा रहा हूँ, 2-3 लोगों के यहाँ भी जा रहा हूँ और ऐसा ही विस्तृत दौरा।
ना इसमें मैं तय करने वाला हूँ, ना आपको इन्फॉर्म करने वाला हूँ। जो उचित लोग हैं वही इस पे आपको कोई जानकारी दे पाएंगे।
चर्चा करने से कोई इसमें परिवर्तन होने वाला नहीं है, कोई लाभ भी होने वाली है। केंद्र सरकार के हाथ में है, माननीय मोदी जी हमारे नेता है, वो जो तय करेंगे वही होगा और पार्टी जिसको जो जिम्मेदारी देगा वो संभालेगा। किसी व्यक्ति की विशेषता इसमें नहीं है।
जनता दल यूनाइटेड केंद्रीय मंत्रिमंडल में शामिल होगी और कौन मंत्री बनेंगे ये विशेषाधिकार माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के हैं। थोड़ा इंतजार कर लीजिए, निश्चित रूप से आप सबको स्पष्ट रूप से मिल जाएगी खबर।
Prema Rajaram reporting from Kolkata joins us. Prema, what are you picking up as far as Sarbananda Sonowal is concerned? Because he's one of the names that has been cropped up, who's been summoned to Delhi at this point of time to have a meeting with JP Nadda this evening, who, by the way, incidentally, has left from Himachal to come to Delhi as well. So there's going to be a big meeting that is going to be taking place that perhaps would include Sarbananda Sonowal too.
Sarbananda Sonowal all set to make his way to Delhi, but not yet sure whether he will be part of this meeting in the evening. However, it is an opportune moment for him to make his mark once again. He was the former Chief Minister of Assam, and before that he's been a minister in the Union Cabinet as well. He's been the Sports and Youth Affairs Minister. So this time around, when he gets to make his way into the Union Cabinet, it is his way of again showing his importance, especially after the recently concluded Assam elections, when he had to make way for Himanta Biswa Sarma to be the CM. Right now, Sonowal is getting his moment in the spotlight once again. And for the Modi government, it is their way of getting in the key states to be part of the Union Cabinet. And since Assam has been an eastern state which they won for a second term, the Modi government looking to give some kind of importance to the leaders from Assam. Back to you, Chetty.
That's right. Continue to stay with us. We're going to get you more details in just about a bit from Assam as well. Over 20 ministers may be inducted with a focus on Bengal, UP, Maharashtra. So question is, how will the new cabinet look like? There's going to be a major cabinet expansion which is on the card. That is what sources are telling us at India Today. 3 p.m. is when I beg your pardon, tomorrow evening is when this could perhaps take place. More than 20 new faces will be inducted. Several sitting ministers may just be dropped. We reported this. The focus is going to be on Bengal, on Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh that is going to pose next year. UP allies, Apna Dal, Nishad Party may also get a seat. JDU and Paras faction of the LJP may just be inducted. What we are also picking up is that cabinet expansion likely this week itself, perhaps tomorrow evening too, and that is also space information coming to us. This is the mega team rejig of the Modi government. We're getting some breaking news coming in. Union cabinet expansion likely on 8th of July. That's the big breaking coming in. Rejig likely to happen at 10:30 a.m. And this is going to happen on 8th of July is what we're picking up at 10:30 a.m. Rahul Shrivastava with that big breaking story that is coming in. Rahul, you were the first one to anyway report about the mega cabinet reshuffle. And now the latest that you're picking up from your sources is that it's going to happen as early as 8th of July, which is day after tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. We'll know the names, who's in, who's out.
Yes, Jyoti. When it comes to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, I always say that there is a statutory warning that any news you put out is always hazardous. But yes, top sources in the government who had told me that it is likely to happen any time after the 7th morning are now confirming that the exercise could take place at 10:30 a.m. on 8th of July morning. That means that all the people who have to join in, who are outside the town, are being given ample time by the Prime Minister and the BJP President JP Nadda, so they can be in town well in time. Now, importantly, there is going to be a meeting of the Union Cabinet tomorrow. Wednesdays traditionally are Cabinet meeting days. That means that of the current cabinet or council of ministers, it could well be of the same composition, the last cabinet meeting, and after that, the next one would be a new look, administratively and politically, a new council of ministers of Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Now, I want to talk more about this with you, Rahul, but I'm compelled to take a very short commercial break. Stay with us because we'll